Hi everybody, what's up? I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages for April 7th through the 13th. Now, if you've never watched the video before, I always tell everybody, at least when I'm coming into the beginning of the video, I typically say that I always give you like a 3 for 3 in the video. What I do is I give you whatever spirit has given me for guidance for the week. This is why I call it the healing messages. And I give you whatever Rune Cast was given, if there was one done. And I mix in with the astrology and help us to pull all of that together and understand what it means and how to help us move forward in the most positive way. That's, again, why I call it the healing messages. Now, I'm going to start off with just saying that because in the beginning of the year, everybody who follows these different videos and, information about all the spiritual enlightenment and soulfulness and wholeness and blah, 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 which is exactly what you're after. But what I'm saying is so many people in the beginning of this year was all saying, when you go into numerology, they were all saying this is a number 11 year. Well, it does break down to an 11, but why stop breaking down there? 1 plus 1 is a 2. This is a 2 year. And Spirit reminds me over and over and over again, do not forget, this is a 2 year. Now, with that being said, 2 speaks to us of taking a harmonious stand in all areas of our life. Coming into a harmonious balance with growth. Well, that cannot be done without shadow. You have to go through shadow and deal with some of that stuff in order to find how harmony and balance is incorrect in order to make it correct. So, I say that because we're going to have a lot of shadow this week. But this is a powerful week. May not necessarily, right at the moment, feel like it's that positive, powerful, driven thing. And that's because this is one of those times where you truly have free will to choose to set you in the right direction or not. Let me break it down into 2 different things of how Spirit was giving it to me. And maybe you'll start to understand. Now, when I do my shamanic journeying and whatnot, my teacher in the upper world is the tree of life, as well as all of her different mini trees to give me different symbols and understanding of the different spiritual meanings of those different trees and what their metaphysical properties are. So I deal with all of the trees, but the tree of life is my teacher. And she's been trying to get through to me, and that's why I waited a little later to make the video today, because I just couldn't seem to grasp it when finally I got it. Now, I'm a positive person, and I'm a positive person. I'm a high vibrational person. I try to find the good in things, but let me not be stupid and act like I know it all. What I'm saying is is the way I deal with it with my teacher, the Tree of Life, is I say all the time. Point blank is she's smart. She knows it. She knows it. She gets it. She follows me through it. Over here, dummy over here sometimes has to be going, hey, you're getting it wrong. Hey, you're looking the wrong way. Hey, dummy, and have to break it down to our smaller vibrations, our smaller, way of thinking, so that we can come to understanding what it is she's trying to teach, basically. And with that being said, I went through that so that I can explain to you what I'm about to say. There's 2 things that I was told to put it in 2 separate ways, because some of you get it one way, some of you will get it another way. Have you ever seen movies that have trilogies? Okay, my favorite one to use in this idea of what I'm trying to get at right now is like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Most people will tell you Part 2 was a cool movie. But when you have all of the different movies, usually Part 2 is the one they kind of like the least. just because of the way the movies are. They like the drama and the action and everything going on in all the other ones. Well, part 2 just seems kind of longer. And it explains a lot more. There had to be that movie had to be in that trilogy in order to move on. Otherwise, the rest wouldn't exactly make sense. That's kind of what this year is, okay? This year is like that part of that trilogy that maybe isn't the most loved, but without it, you can't get to the next point, is what I'm trying to get at. And the Tree of Life was also showing me because they overlap, the tree does, from the bottom, as above, so below. However, when we're looking at trees in general, she's reminding me, we look at trees and we think of the shade that, is provided by the sun coming down on the tree. And, sometimes we like to sit in the shade and we enjoy the shade being provided by the tree and the sun. The tree reminds us, that's not shade. That is shadow. And we kind of don't choose to see it that way. The tree grows tall and strong and higher and higher and higher towards the light for growth. And it cannot help but to leave its shadow behind. This is what I'm trying to get at. You have to grow in order to leave it behind. You can't be part of the past. You can't continuously look out the back door at the past and expect to move forward. But you do have to go through that process of understanding that and getting over it before you can move forward. And this is one of those times, like I said, with free will. Free will is giving us the opportunity to move forward or not to. And whether we're making the right decisions and we're moving forward, or we're stumbling over our own 2 feet and about to start the same cycle again, is honestly a free will choice. But it also is a soulful choice, because sometimes you're just not ready. I am being told, though, with this week, like I said, you have to leave the past behind. It's the past for a reason. And you need to stop looking at it. And if you are reevaluating things from the past, because it is going to come up this week and next week, is what I'm being told. If you are reevaluating it, do exactly that. See what it is that is being shown to you, so you can understand the lesson that's being taught, and then keep on trucking. Move. Don't sit there in it and fester in that energy, because that's not what that energy is about right now. However, that is part of the test. Like I said, we were told last week, I said in the messages, that it's kind of like when it's time to take the test to see if you've learned anything to move forward, your teachers go silent. Same kind of story. I am being told, as you leave it behind, remember, we're not just speaking about friends, people, places, things. We're talking about our addictions, our habits as well, and leaving them behind. But you cannot be part of an addiction, part of your bad habits, and continue to leave them behind. It is something that must be dropped and left for whatever reason at this time as we move forward. It's about breaking chains, and it is about severing those ties that keep you binded to them. And I am being reminded by Spirit as well, remember, it's not about manifestation as much as it is about vibrational frequency. You can manifest all you want and try hard to believe and hope and faith all you want about getting to that next position on your vibrational frequency and trying to move up and bring that energy to you. But if you are not at that vibrational frequency, if you don't rise yourself up to it, then it's not going to happen. It has to start from within. And that is what they mean by stepping out of that 3rd dimension and into the 4th and 5th. You have to start to rise up into that higher dimension, that higher vibrational frequency, in order to bring the vibrational frequency to you. If you still believe in the lower vibrational frequency, just like I said, the tree reaches all the way up to the sky, stretching towards the sun, and it cannot help but to leave its shadow behind. If you're stuck in the shadow energy, You're not rising to that vibrational frequency of what you truly want. And that is what I'm trying to get through to you. Now, with that being said, I'm also being told a lot of people are going through, sorry, I have little notes that I have everywhere. A lot of people are going through, starting to have problems. Like I said, this would deal with moving into that vibrational frequency and moving forward. They're starting to have problems with faith and believing that they can move forward and forward into their life, into the future, without being able to truly be connected with their psychic, intuitive gifts and skills. What is holding you back? What is keeping you from thinking that you're doing this? This is part of the problem that they're telling you to assess and pay attention to. What is keeping you from lifting your natural gifts up out of you? What is keeping you from having that perfect flow from within you that brings that harmony? And what are you fearing and you won't let go of that's keeping you from doing it? It is part of what I'm being told by Spirit. Like I said, I had to go back and write that stuff down. Now, sorry, I got notes everywhere. Then for the week we have the runes. I'm going to hand them over, and we have a lot going on in astrology, and it's really big, important week, so you want to hold on to that. But it was given Induus. Induus looks like a diamond. A diamond. Induus looks like a diamond. It is one of the runes coming in. There's 3. It is the world of our inner experiences. It is the seeding. It is the guiding itself. It speaks to us of our virtues and our common sense, as well as our family warmth. It focuses on being able to go inward and reevaluate, think about how and what it is that really is important to you and your priorities, true priorities to your soul. It speaks to us of stillness. It is the moment within the process is what this week is speaking to us of. It can reveal the very need of meditation, but it can also reveal when someone is truly working with their spiritual work. But no decision should be done without proper thought. It speaks to us of our inner nourishment, of our withdrawal from the outer world and allow the inner world to help us. Suspension in the outer world, not letting go, not stopping, just suspension for a little bit. Take some inward time. It's about strengthening our inner resources. It is a necessary stasis, basically. It is the hidden realm of where it is your soul comes from. Now remember, when I say Induus all the time, and I always remind everybody when I speak of Induus, Induus also reminds us of our 4. You've heard me say it a million times. Our 4 is our emotional, our mental, our spiritual, and our physical. All 4 of them must be in balance in order to create your one wholeness. So it's speaking to you of your 4, looking for that wholeness, which is where the soulfulness is. You gotta care about all 4. You can't just care about your physical and your spiritual, but leave your mental and your emotional behind. All 4 are a key here. Now, it's also, we're being reminded of the energies of what we're going to be going through as we're dealing with Induus. And we have Manaz. Manaz looks like that. Or if you can't see it, like that. Okay, Manaz speaks to us of man, humanity, people, and air. It is the world of people. It speaks to us of intelligence, creative skill, and our ability. It is self-realization through the ordering of everyday daily life. It is the focus of awareness of one's self and one's place within the scheme of all things of life. It shows us the presence of seeking the true path. But it can also show us when someone feels victimized and lost because of their lack within that. It is self-realization, self-consciousness, self-realized consciousness. It is the seeker awakening to finding their true place in the world. And that's what this week is about, if you're coming into that new cycle. It is our realization that you can only learn from playing your part within the world of what you are supposed to be here for. But it speaks to us of where nature and society come together in a form. It is the belonging of that divine energy. It is manifested from human nature into twin form of both human and divine. This is what I'm trying to get through to you, babe. Now, lastly, we have Tawaz, and it looks like an arrow facing up. Tawaz speaks to us of the polar star, though. It speaks to us of the mineral world. It is honor, justice, leadership, analysis, and rationality. It focuses on matters of adherence. It's through wisdom and social order and justice. Points to the needs of taking a seasoned approach right now. And it is social order, law, justice. The polar star, it speaks to us of our own personal sacrifices in order to come over our obstacles. It speaks to us of the independence that we all are part of. But we have to find it within ourselves to stand for it. It is the order of existence also, which we are all part of. But it is loyalty to yourself and what you truly need. It is the cooperating. No, I'm leaving that part out for this week. But it is an oath-taking, analysis, courage, methods, planning, precision. But it speaks to us also sometimes of military action as it has to move forward. And objective judgment. Now, with that being said, I'll put my runes away and move into this week's astrology. I'm going to start off with telling you the big event, and then I'm going to go to the negatives, or the I wouldn't say the negatives, but the challenges. But here is the thing. This whole week is moving again with that new moon. The new moon is going to take place on Tuesday the 15th. Okay? Uranus is moving into Taurus. The same place the new moon is. What did I just say? Taurus. Taurus is the universal second house. Shadow. Okay? Shadow is, again, your universal number. Shadow has to come up in order for the new to begin, in order for the new cycle to start, in order to overcome, in order to move forward. As we move into Taurus, independence, individuality, uniqueness, and freedom, which is what Uranus is moving out of Aries, out of that first house where it has all of that pent-up energy, because anything you didn't learn the whole time it was here over the last, I think it was 6 or 9 years, and over the last few years that it's been here, it only had up until it moves and it crosses that cusp to get its last messages out. That's why aggression has been coming out so much, but I'll get back to that one. But Uranus is moving into Taurus. So is the new moon. So are the new beginnings. This is an important time. This is a very powerful move. But when it moves, all of this negative energy, all of these aggressions and frustrations and irritations that are rising up out of you that you can't seem to just let go of right now, those are energies that are feeling threatened. Ego, of course. But those are energies that are feeling threatened of your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, and your freedom that are standing in the way of making you feel better. And ego actually is working with you and against you, depending on if you can control yourself, to help you see what it needs to see before it moves into Taurus. Because for the next however many years it's here in Taurus, I can't remember if it's here in Taurus for 6 or 9 years, but this is a brand new cycle starting, just like Chiron just started a new cycle. And as it starts in Taurus, Taurus loves the luxury, loves the nice things, loves to enjoying, but it's full of abundance, but it's also bullheaded. Okay? And when we're moving into that house, we're also moving into the universal second house, not just Taurus. We're moving into where that second house deals with self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. And you can't learn how to create self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem, which can also help bring you financial money to your life without starting to see where it's lacking or it ain't working first. And that's why that independence is coming out of Uranus so deeply right now. So that new moon is going to be very powerful when it happens the same day as Uranus moves. Sensitives, you might get knocked down. Take some time for yourself. Pamper yourself some. Sometimes you might want to stay away from a little bit of people. You don't need to be overpopulated out there right now. It's not going to hurt you to take a little bit of time for you. Like I said, you were given into us. You're 4. Take care of your 4. But leave shadow behind. You don't want to be playing in shadow. You might want to see it and know that it's there and have to acknowledge it. But the point is to move forward and stretch towards the light. Plain and simple. It has to get left behind sometime. And this is one of those times where you're starting to make that healing through Chiron. I'll come back in a second and explain that. Now, with that being said, that's the biggest event this week. Over this week, you have you have a few oppositions, but very powerful ones that most people aren't going to be talking about. You've heard me talk about Haumea. Haumea is our collective consciousness, okay? And it is in opposition with Eris. Eris is the goddess of resentment, okay? So you have your collective consciousness speaking directly in a not so positive way. This is where those trickeries are coming in to see if you really are learning and moving up. The goddess of resentment and revenge. She speaks to us of our feelings of betrayal, our feelings of trouble and toil and pain, and the brawls and violent disputes that we have not soulfully let go of. She speaks to us of the spiteful envy and the determination to make it right. So she's going to be hitting you below the belt. She's doing it, speaking to the collective consciousness itself to help you realize what you're lying to yourself about, basically, so that you can have to leave it behind. Sometimes, I said to somebody earlier this week, love never changes. I mean, love never ends. You will always love. But love can turn into anger. Love can turn into resentment. Love can turn into fear. Love can turn into many things. But love is always there. If you love somebody once, you will always love them. However, it changes. That is one thing you will always count on. So, it's just another change that you're learning to work through. Now, with that being said, Haumea, your collective consciousness, is also squaring, which is another, not a negative energy, but a challenge. It is squaring Ceres in your universal 5th house of creativity, where Leo the Lion is. It's also Ceres is what do you need